Everyone, it's Michelle Angelic, Truth and Integrity Warrior. I am 9 minutes late and I am working on it. I am. Tarde pero seguro. Late, but I'm here, right? Late, but I'm here. So today is February 5th, 2025. I'm working on the mic thing. I'm working on the whole system. My system's lagging, so I wasn't able to. Got to get a new PC, the bottom part, right? Because my little laptop connected to all of this big screen and stuff got too much lag. So it's a work in progress. Today I'm going to be calling out some people, calling them out and showing why I'm calling them out. They're big names and they're leading the Christian community in the wrong direction. And if we don't check that before it snowballs into something that's out of control, where it's going right now, things are getting out of control. Meaning everybody thinks they're going in the right direction. They're just getting moved into the same shit on a different level. That's all. So we're moving in out of the norm of what we used to know into this futuristic reality, trying to carry the same religion or the same religious routines, right? And I'm saying that we're in a machine, and this machine has patterns that we got to recognize so that we don't keep falling into the same pitfalls. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle Angelique. I've been talking about that we're in a machine before people started talking about that we're in a machine, right? Well, at least saying it with the words they might be thinking it, but everyone's been afraid to say it. And I've been saying it since 2020 on my channel. And for also those of you who don't know me, this technology that's part of this machine that assimilates biology into itself and integrates into its wickedness, its evilness, its because it lives and survives off of pain, right? Called quantum annealing. That's its proper term on finding the lowest point of vibration. And because we find that it finds the lowest point of vibration, it powers itself. It creates power to keep itself alive, functioning, these AI systems, right? That we have right now in this reality called D-Wave machines. So my point of why I'm going to make this call out and why it's so necessary is because this perpetuation of going down this road of more pain and more suffering, it should got to get nipped in the bud. It needs to come to an end. And so I'm going to call out people who put themselves on YouTube into our world of influencers and navigators of what we should be thinking and how we should be thinking, because they are quote unquote, what you want to call them, professionals, you know. We'll call them professionals, or people who are studied. Well, the thing is, we're studying the same shit, just giving it a different name, and that's what I'm gonna call out. We got to get back to basics. My focus is getting us back to basics by recognizing that we do good, we get good, right? We do good, we get good. What we put into this field of reality, we get back. That's just the way the function of this reality works, of realities in general. If we don't get on the same page and start working together as a species, recognizing we are a species and that matters, because we're going to start seeing other species and then we're not going to know where to turn. If we're already confused about the reality we're in, this is only going to fuck shit up for us even more so. So getting back down to root basics of how to behave with one another, how to treat our body like a temple, because our temple is being managed and maneuvered and navigated by these other beings that are creature kind that's not mankind. And these creature kind, I call them Canaanites because they're in the Bible and they behave like animals. Animals, when I say animals, I mean some animals eat their own babies, you know, some animals eat their own shit. And some animals eat other animals alive, right? That's what I mean by animal behavior. And the Canaanites had that behavior. They just don't explain it very well in the Bible, right? They're not literal. I'm fucking literal about it, where you can go back and look it up and see, oh, this shit is real. This is how people behaved back then. But they weren't people. They were creature kind in bodies of mankind. So here we go, right? Let me see. Before I get started, and before we get into this, I just want to make a couple little shout outs. I got to do this because either I do it at the end or at the beginning. I'm going to do it right now at the beginning. But I just want to let you know what we're going to be talking about today. Hey, little cricket. Glad to see you also, girl. Who else is here? Josh. I'm going to try to get this. I never do it. I never do it till like later. But what I'm trying to do is get this so I could read on the big screen instead of on my phone and put my face so close, you know. So I'm trying to avoid. Give me one sec. But glad to have you here. So glad to see you. How you doing, Josh? I don't recognize your name, but thank you for saying you're glad to see me. Appreciate that. All right. Gary Wayne is one of the people I'm going to be calling out. He's what do they call him? A contrarian, somebody who doesn't accept the narrative and digs in research and explains detail by detail what he sees as he's seeing it, right? He fine-comb tooths everything. So as I'm listening to him, I've been listening for a real while, and I was like, oh, this guy's on the ball, you know, he got his shit together. He's calling out shit the right way, and then I caught his ass talking some shit and not checking some stuff that, why can I see it, but you, Mr. Contrarian, see if I'm saying this right, you fine comb toother, you know, you checking shit, but you can't check this shit, you can't see this. So I put these two things together because they both came up to my perception on the same day, and I caught it. So I catch people. That's what I do. I catch people. And then they got to be questioned. They got to be held accountable and say, okay, why'd you say this? Give me a real good explanation. Correct that shit so we could then move forward. But if you can't correct that shit, I cut your fucking ass. And that's my new thing, what I'm going to be doing. You know, I'm going to be catching these fuckers. And I highly doubt any of them will want to talk to me about it, because I don't let shit fucking slide. You know, the way I am in a boxing ring, that's how I am out here. I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm here to fucking break you. You either fix that shit, correct it, so we all can move forward, because we're all trying to get in the same direction, or I'm gonna fucking break you right where you stand. I'm gonna fucking split you in half with my words, catching your words out your fucking mouth. Like that. All right, Josh, we emailed one time. Oh, okay, Josh, I'll have to go back and look at that. More than we got, Josh. Most just I said, thank you for your hard work. Oh, I appreciate that. That's very sweet and kind of you. I thank you. So here I am trying to get online, and guess what? It's my computer's lagging so much, it's still thinking about it. It's still fucking thinking about it. Oh my God. All right, so I'm gonna keep it right here. Keep it simple with me and my my little screen, right? I should have got my glasses. So before I start busting some ass right here, calling out some names, I just want to let everybody know who I said I was going to get back to them. I'm going to get back to you on my day off, Friday, right? I'm going to take care of you guys on Friday, get back to you. Sorry if I haven't, right? One of the subscribers asked what kind of makeup I use. I didn't elaborate which kind of e.l.f. Concealer I use for my scars, because I got a lot of scars on my face, right? Boom. I use this e.l.f. concealer. It does what I'm trying to avoid when it comes to makeup, because of this nanotechnology, will break down the immune system. So let me correct myself. Nanotechnology that's in the food, because it's in the food and now in our bodies, my body happens to be a body that if my immune system drops, boom, the tech will literally rip through my skin, different parts of my body, head to toe, right? I can't afford that, so I don't drop my immune system. And so in the makeup as well, if there's nightshade oils in the makeup, like soybean oil, canola oil, which some e.l.f. products have. So this is why I only use this one. So when I say this one, I mean just this one. You get it in different shades, but I'm saying I don't use e.l.f. Camo because they have canola oil, and I can't use canola oil because it's a nightshade. It'll drop my immune system. So that's to that subscriber who might be listening, right? and for those of you who want to hide any scars from this tech. And the other thing was, I had it written down. My Patreon. What's going on with my Patreon is I took it down, and my one subscriber, my one first member. Let me give a shout out to him. His name is Marcellus. Marcellus, thank you. Thank you for putting in those $10 so that I can see actually what it looks like on the screen, and I know what I'm working with, even though I don't have no videos up. So I had to bring it down and resubmit and change the name because I can't afford what I was trying to do. What I was trying to do is do food, sex, and harmony, but because I had the word sex in there, meaning above 18 and older adult content, I gotta pay like $40 just so I can get a third party to upload my videos. I can't afford that right now. So I had to rethink, redo, and I'm moving it over to food, vitamins, and harmony. So with the food and the vitamins, and show how I harmoniously put that into my lifestyle where it's in my food and it's part of my diet. It's part of my food consumption while I'm at work. So I'm loading up, strengthening up, getting my cells what they need so that my body, my cells don't take from my muscle and deplete my muscle and give me the energy that I need. You know, all these little different things. There's a whole lot of things, and I'm going to show you guys how I do that in Food, Vitamins, and Harmony. Hopefully by next week I'll have that up and going, and you guys can become a member. I need 300 members so that I can start doing with you, being with you guys every day, and this being part of my new line of work, right? Working with you guys and showing you guys what I do day to day. So that's that. And then I have a t-shirt company that works by a family in Pakistan that works at making t-shirts and stuff and sportswear. I thought I was gonna be a fighter. I thought I was gonna get on that stage. I thought, so I made all these connections, and none of that happened. I tried, I knocked on that door. In fact, I knocked on 3 doors, and I was rejected all 3 times. Not for my ability, but or my lack of ability. It's not for because I have a lack of ability. It's because my age is 51, and nobody wants anybody fighting at 51. That's that. So my next week I'm gonna show you guys his information, his family's what they got going, their high quality and attention to detail on the stitches and their work, so that if you guys want your brand, or you guys want somebody actually creating your gear for you, being whatever it is that you might be making, your t-shirts or your sportswear, these guys are really good, and they pay attention to details. They're not buying cheap stuff and then just running a silk screen over it. They're doing everything, making it, and they use really good, high quality material. I love the material the best, and their stitching. Their stitching was fantastic. I'll show that to you guys next week and get you guys that information. And for now, let's bust some ass. Calling out some names. I'm pretty fucking excited about it because I would like to know why they're saying this shit. Like, if I'm wrong, let me stand corrected. Let me fix my shit. Let me apologize. I got no fucking problem doing that. But if I catch a motherfucker and I double checked and triple checked and when I'm hearing exactly what the fuck I'm hearing, I'm gonna call your ass out. Let me give you a quick idea before I call out any more names. What just happened yesterday? Give me 1 second. I should have bought some water. I gotta go get some water. Give me a second, guys. Sorry to have you guys waiting. I really do. I didn't know my throat's gonna be that dry. yesterday. I'm listening to Alberino. I think you guys know who Alberino is. He talks about the aliens and connects it to the Bible, connects it to Enoch, connects it to Genesis, right? There's a lot of connecting. And I've been listening to Alberino for a good long time. And then he said some shit yesterday that I was like, what? I gotta just ask you, Mr. Alberino, if you can clear this up. And once it's cleared up, then I feel better about who I'm listening to and what they're saying, right? But this is how I catch things. This is how I catch things, just by the words that come out of people's mouths that don't line up with what they're presenting. So if somebody's presenting this and saying this, and then they slacking on something right over here, but we like everything we're hearing, that we let that slide. I don't let that shit slide. I don't let myself slide. So why am I gonna let no motherfucker slide? You ain't slipping past me. I'm gonna ask, and I'm gonna understand. I'm either gonna like it or I ain't gonna like it. And so, Mr. Alberino, I'm gonna call your ass out. I was listening to one of your videos, which I'll post, right, and I'll put a time stamp on it. But he makes a statement of when he did a book publishing, right? It happened to be on Halloween. Now, when you have a book publishing, that's a big deal. That's like getting married and shit. You having a fucking ceremony. Shit, you ain't gonna fucking forget it. It takes a lot of work to write a book, right? I haven't even written one, but I can only imagine that it's a lot of work to write a book. And it means something when it gets published, right? So he does it on Halloween. I'm like, was there like a deal and you were broke? And so you needed that budgeted deal, and that's why you picked Halloween? Well, why would you pick Halloween knowing all the word that's used is esoteric, right? Knowing all the esoteric background on Halloween, but yet you're going to publish some important work of yours on that day and then keep it as an anniversary day? That's some shit right there. So I would like to know, Mr. Alberino, this is a shout out to you. Can you explain that so I can feel better about listening to the words coming out your mouth? That's one. That just happened yesterday. That just happened yesterday. Again, today is February 20, or what? No, I'm already in the 20s. February 5th, 2025. Just in case anybody wants to know when I heard what I heard. I'm going to call out some names, and then I'm going to hit specifically Gary Wayne, because it takes some work and some detail to show you why I'm questioning what I'm questioning and some breakdown, right? Everything that I'm talking about, I'll be putting a link so that, and a time marker where you can start hearing what I heard and then make your own observation, right? I'm not telling you to believe what I'm saying. I'm saying this is what I saw, this is what I'm calling out, and then you can make up your own choice on what you hear. Joe Rogan, you guys already know. If you haven't heard on other podcasts or other videos I've done, Joe Rogan is a guy in the middle. He's a middleman. He plays the middle, which is it's a no-go in these times. We can't be in the middle, in the gray zone, pretending to be like, well, I'm not with them and I'm not with them. Yes, motherfucker, you're with them because you're not picking a fucking side. Declare and state a claim. Whose side are you on? Because when you're in the middle, you're playing on the other guy's team, because you can swap back and forth, and that's some dangerous shit in times like this. Also, Joe Rogan was on that 5-hour video where he showed all those Masonry, Freemasonry is Satanism, right? That video that I had posted. I'll post that here for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. But the secret society is that they're fucking Satanists, and they make an oath like fallen angels. Fallen angels made an oath. Yeshua said, do not make an oath. Do not do that, because then if you do, you're on those guys' team. You're over there on that side, right? You're not over here with us. When I say with us, I'm talking about mankind species kind. You're over there with creature fucking kind, chimera kind, in the bodies of men and women. So Joe Rogan's in that lineup of pictures with a T-shirt that shows 666 on his shirt. Now we ain't times to be fucking around. What you wear is what you claim, and if you don't know that shit, get to know that shit. Know that shit, especially if you're an influencer, especially if you're on this screen right here and talking to people and telling them words coming out of your mouth. I'll just leave it like that. Words coming out of your mouth, you better know that what you have around you, what you have on you, what you have behind you, it fucking matters, and we're looking and we're paying attention. It needs to be looked at. It needs to be paid attention to. You got Elon Musk with Baphomet, #1 chimera. You got a fucking chimera of a goat man with female breasts, human breasts, with a goat, right? Goat head, goat legs, man parts, man and woman in goat man. Those are satyrs, which are known as Satanists, which are satanic in nature and fuck their own children. Because goats, that's why they're called horny goats, because they fuck everything. And so you mix those genetics with mankind genetics, you got a fucking problem. So in the book of Enoch, and when I say Enoch, there's 2 Enochs off of 2 lines. Line of Cain and the line of, get it right, Michelle, with the Seth. So these 2 different lines, they got a Enoch in there. So we need to pay attention to which Enoch we're talking about. So I'm going to make sure that it's stated from my mouth that when I say Enoch, I mean 7th from Adam, father Jared. So Enoch with his father named Jared. Not Enoch, his father's name Cain. That's not who I'm talking about. Because these Satanists follow that Enoch. And when they talk about Enoch and what he came to teach, well, who are we talking about? Let's be clear. State it out your mouth first before we take any more steps forward. Very important for people to know that. So Enoch, son of Jared, that's how I'm going to say it. I'm trying to remember where it was at and what point I wanted to make and why this was so important. Because I got off a track. Sorry that I do that, you guys. There's so many little details that I want to make sure that you guys get so that I'm not misunderstood, so that I'm clear on my words, and so that we learn to make others clear on their words. Like, I'm going to have to hold you accountable to that. What do you mean by that? Before we make a choice or jump the gun, can you clarify this detail for me? Because you might have overlooked it. And once it's clarified, we either pull back or move forward. Now, why was I talking about Enoch? Oh, we're going to have to come back to that. It upsets me that I forgot what point I wanted to make on that. I was talking about Joe Rogan. We're going to have to scratch that and just start with the new. Greg Braden. People follow Greg Braden, been following Greg Braden for a long time. Greg Braden was wearing regular clothes with regular colors, and then all of a sudden went black. Every time he's doing any presentation, he wears black from neck to toe, all the time, every time. He has the statue of Shiva behind him when he's doing his broadcast. Who keeps calling me that? Nobody ever calls me, right? Nobody ever calls me with it. No, don't stop. And so he can't be talking about following Yeshua with Shiva in the back, because Greg Braden doesn't follow Yeshua, meaning Joshua, King Joshua. And people think that he does. He follows Yahweh. And so these are all Yahwists that are not closet Satanists, on the Canaanite payroll. Like Joe Rogan, he's on the Canaanite payroll because he won't admit, that's what I was talking about, being gray, being in the middle, playing with the black side and the white side, the good side and the bad side, the full of light side and the full of void side. Yeah, we're not playing this checkerboard game no more. These guys are mixing the 2 sides and playing in the middle and fucking people over like Joe Rogan. When we start recognizing that, we stop watching their fucking channel. Then they start becoming popular and making money. And that's how we get them. Stop watching them. because they're playing in the middle, and we ain't got no more time for that. No, it's not even about time. It's unacceptable. We ain't in those times no more. So those who are on the Canaanite payroll is also Dana White, UFC, right? UFC. Anybody says anything about God, he gets disgusted about it. He's bothered by it. Like, wish you won't even say nothing about it. Well, motherfucker, what does that mean? What does that mean, right? And he also has this chick on there. I'm gonna have to get onto him. I'm gonna have to do a Joe Rogan, Dana White only, where I can write down all the details of people's names so that we can get real specific about it. But there's a lot of shady shit with Dana White that I see in the UFC, right? And that's promoting violence, not skill, right? Because I'm a fighter, and that shit is skill. You got to put skill into that. You don't just fucking be able to handle going in there and going ape shit and just being accepted as violence, right? It's not violence, it's skill with opponent against opponent. There's something to that. Being pushed to your limit, being tested in a controlled environment instead of being pushed to your limit outside and taking it where you kill somebody, where it's unnecessary, right? And then that shit rides on your soul. There's a difference. So what I mean about the Dana White is Dana White and Joe Rogan, they're on the Canaanite payroll, and they pretend to be in the middle where it's gray. Unacceptable. Bill Cooper, also known as William Cooper. This is me having to go back and I gotta now make an adjustment. I used to follow William Cooper because his information was on point. And back in the day, I questioned 3 things about him. 3 things, but I let it ride because I didn't know how to hold myself accountable when I was listening to him back then, right? But now that I've gone through these, I would say 7 years of some hardship, in these last 3 to 4 years of like straight up having my ass handed to me, right? Having my ass handed to me to learn how to, I don't even know what to call it, but I have been refined and defined where I hold myself accountable, and you best believe I'm gonna make everybody else be held accountable. So now that I'm this way, and I went back and listened to those Bill Cooper, William Cooper tapes, I got it. So Bill Cooper is the 80s and 90s version of David Icke. So David Icke and Bill Cooper, I'm calling you out, right? Calling you both out. Why am I calling you both out? Well, William Cooper, Bill William, right? He got shot in front of his house. But still, even though he got shot in front of his own house, it's with these, it's like gang members. They take each other out. It's just how it works. But they're allowed to go and tell the public, to get the public's mind ready and developed for where they're taking us. And that's why they're allowed to say what they say about these deep secrets that we're not supposed to know, but yet Bill Cooper and David Icke can let it slip in. They can do it, but others can't. So with David Icke, I saw stuff that when you say, or when it is said that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, is look at David Icke's son and you'll have a better idea of what I'm talking about. Donald Trump, another apple that doesn't fall far from the tree, is everybody's pushing for Donald Trump and don't recognize that he's part of the same beast system. He's just playing the good cop, bad cop. So we got the bad cop, and then he's coming in and playing the good cop. And so the good cops, they're still going to wrangle your ass to where they want you to be. They're just going to be nice about it and give you what you want. Give you some fucking treats. Give you some fucking treats, make you happy, but still going to fuck you in your ass. So Donald Trump, you want to question because you're not sure. You know, he does some bad stuff, but there's so much good stuff that we let the bad stuff slip and slide. 666 is on the tower of his son-in-law. Now, you can't come and marry my daughter, you know. If I'm an individual and I'm running the United States under the name of King Joshua, right, the good of God, doing the right thing for the right reason for the people, why the fuck am I going to allow my daughter to go marry a guy who has 666 on his fucking building. I'm not. Because that goes against my fucking grain. But what is his grain? That is his grain. You feeling me? Synagogue of Satan. That is his grain. So they're cool with the 666 because that's where the tree fucking comes from. The tree where that apple falls, right? That son-in-law now married to his daughter. You can't marry my daughter? You can't come up and fuck up all my shit that I'm trying to create for this America under King Joshua's name, under God's name? It's contradiction. And that contradiction is where the lie stands. But people don't know where to go, so they're just like, well, this good cop is better than that bad cop, so fuck it, let's take him. Instead of getting all of them fuckers out. All that poison out. And I'm not talking shit about cops. Let me find a new word to use instead of cops. Because if I'm in trouble, I need a cop, right? I need a cop. But you get my point, right? You get my point. It's a good guy, bad guy scenario. And so we follow these people because we don't know what else to do. And the thing to do is to get them legally for treason from the United Nations, which is the headquarters of where every country is running its laws from. And it's treasonous to hold the constitution of any country by the chokehold, because that's what's going on. We're not free to do what we want to do in our countries because our constitution is on freeze and we don't recognize it. We think we're free in it, but we're not. One country needs to pull back out of the United Nations. When I say out of the United Nations, is getting our constitution back and running our constitution correctly. You know, running it as I'm gonna take this to. I'm watching myself take this into a different direction. This is not where I want to go. I've made videos, other videos for that. I'll post a link of a video I did on what we can do and what I found in the legal system can be done about it. These are the people that are in high positions that come out of people's mouths and people trust because they're giving us something good while they're slipping some bad shit in to direct and socially engineer the minds of mankind. Remember, this is mankind against another creature kind that lives in the bodies of men and women, and we ain't recognizing how it manages the mind without the mind knowing. Or for these big time characters, they know. You know, when people are in secret societies, they give themselves willingly to these creatures to be their space invaded, right? Their space is invaded and taken over by these creature kinds. I see these creature kinds inside of a human being on a sunny day at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, coming home from the grocery store. Kids in the back seat of the car. I know these things are real. These creatures are real. They exist in the bodies. I've seen them. They're very fucking frightening. I will say that. Very frightening. So when I speak out of conviction. I can't expect everybody to go watch all my videos and know that I've experienced this myself. And this is why I'm sounding the fucking alarm on what we got to do to make changes and adjustments. And then recognize the people that are around us feeding us information. All right, now I'm going to get over to Gary Wayne's. You guys can check out these two details that I caught on the same day listening to two videos. One of them was from a video on YouTube from the Goslings. I heard Gary Wayne talking about, he talks about a lot of things, right? It's like almost like a 2-hour video, but right at the 46-minute mark of this video, he's going over a detail. And he don't say nothing about that detail. I was like, oh, I'm waiting for the next step, right? Because I can hear it clearly. How can he can't hear it clearly? He can't hear it clearly because he ain't trying to clear that shit up. And this is why I'm calling him out. And then the other part was later on in the day, I listened to a audio or a video, which I'm also going to post. Um, that's from Now You See TV from 9 years ago, and it's interviewing Gary Wayne, and he made a statement that I made my fucking head spin. I'm like, what? What? He talked about the Essene Jews and how they're the bad guys. They're polytheistic, right? They got multiple gods, and they are the White Brotherhood. They're the bad guys. I'm like, this motherfucker. And what? Now I know he's purposely doing what he's doing on purpose. This ain't no fucking mistake for Gary Wayne's part on slipping bad information with all this factoids. So he's spitting out factoids that we all agree with, and then he's redirecting the fucking narrative on specific key points. So Yeshua HaMashiach, King Joshua, people call him Jesus, but that's not his name. Because Jesus is Nimrod for these fuckers that are trying to bring back Nimrod, and they call him Jesus. So that's why we'll call him Jesus. The bad guys, the guys against mankind, the opposition to mankind is trying to bring back Nimrod. And Nimrod and his counterpart is his mother called Semiramis, right? So there's information on that. I got to do one video just on that detail alone because there's so many details, because there's so many people saying it's not even true. Well, it don't got to be true to nobody, except it's true to these motherfuckers who are running our world. And that's the point we got to start looking at. Because we don't look at what they're fucking running and what they're navigating and where they're trying to take us, then we just stay fucking clueless and blind. So this Nimrod worship that they're trying to bring back, and they call him in baby Jesus. They call him baby Jesus Nimrod. So when they say Jesus, that's who they mean. And that's why we should not, if we follow King Joshua and his way, we can't be calling him Jesus. This is what I mean. And they're trying to bring back this machine female mind that runs in the feminine. They call it the feminine, right? And this is the real big bad guy. This is the real scary fucking creature that's going to bite everybody in the ass. But there are going to be so many hurt women out there that they're all going to fall for it, because they've all become feminists and hate men. And when you get a woman to hate her own children who are men, it fucks up society permanently. And we have to change this. We have to turn this around, because this is what they're trying to do, is bring back this demonic goddess called Innana, Ishtar, right? And I should have had her name written down. She has a ton of different names. Oh gosh, I know I wrote it down because I want to say these names so that when you come across them or people talking about them, they talk about them like they're venerating them as, oh, the poor woman. No, 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 no. This bitch eats human babies. Has people sacrifice their human babies to this bitch witch. You feeling me? This is an ancient time. This is in King Joshua's time. That's why King Joshua said, let's get rid of the woman, not women. It's that bitch right there. Lilith, Innana, Ishtar. They'd have their 12-year-old daughters who would have their periods go have sex in her temple to initiate her to become a woman at 12 years old or whenever they have their period. This shit is written and stated as facts. And they would have sex orgies on a certain day. These women would have random sex with strange men in the temples of Ishtar and Innana, right? Or it's actually the temple of Ishtar, but we're talking about the same demonic mind, feminine mind from this machine. This is my point. So this is not me trying to fuck up people's religious backgrounds. This is me I'm fucking stating that this machine has a way of manipulating the mind by degrading the soul to the point of where it has control over it, and it goes into demonic files in this machine that people live when they're dead. There's more pain and death. There's more life and death than what we're living right here, because we don't die. And If we don't get this shit right and fix and correct this shit, our children's children are going to be living through the times of King Joshua. And those were some evil, wicked fucking times. When he came up against evil, we ain't talking about the shit we see with our eyeballs out here. Where we got Christians calling people sinners. No, people are fucking up, but they ain't sinners. A sinner is somebody who rapes their child at 3 years old, and it called that shit fucking normal. People who have sex with a goat in the middle of the fucking plaza at a certain time of the day as fucking normal. These are fucking sins. But we don't recognize because we're just being misled, misdirected, misguided, easily influenced because of our pain and our hates, that we're easily managed and maneuver to whatever hits our button. Yeah, I hate that motherfucker too, because I haven't healed myself. And because I haven't healed myself, I'm easily misled. And that's what King Joshua came to make sure that we fix and correct. Lilith was the other name that I wanted to make sure that people recognize. This machine mind is feminine in its nature because she's the queen of heaven, the beast that's coming up in these end times to finish mankind, that we have to get a grip on. And if I don't gotta explain, if we don't, what can happen, right? But we are the last line of defense because we are the last generations to be able to physically fucking do anything about anything, because we still got the mindset to know what things used to be and where things are being misdirected, because our children and our children's children are gonna have a fucking clue or physical capability to do a fucking thing about anything. We've been broken down to the point where we have only been able to build up. You know, if we're the broken fucking generation, we've only been broken to be molded and ready for this shit. And that's what I'm gonna show you on my food, vitamins, and harmony. I ain't fucking around when I say that. I'm gonna regenerate mankind. I'll regenerate mankind. I'll get our shit ready. When I say get ready, I mean like you fucking need to be capable, physically able, mentally steady, and able to handle just the basic shit we got on our day to day. Much less all this other crazy shit that I'm explaining is happening, because it's happening. I'm trying to look for something and I don't have it in front of me. Let me get to this Gary Wayne and these two details. So Gary Wayne says Jehovah when he speaks. He believes in Jehovah, right? I'm like, well, Jehovah means Lord, and Lord can be anybody, any Lord, not anybody, but any gang member trying to take position of top control can be that Lord or that Jehovah. And that's why Yeshua said, you call me by my name, to make sure we don't mix shit up. Christ can be the light of anyone trying to take that position of control. Jehovah, any Lord. The word Lord could be anybody trying to take top position and control. And so those names can't be used and people be like, oh, we're talking about the same guy. No, we're not. Let's define names specifically. When people say God, well, which one are you talking about? The fallen angels who are posing as God, or the only one God? Well, which one? Can you clarify? So this is why calling King Joshua by his name, which I'm starting to do, God Yeshua, so that it's super defined. If I don't got no tattoos, only because I ain't got no money. I don't have enough money to get tattoos, right? But I'd have that tattooed on my body, so there's no question about it. Like, you weren't sure? Let me show you. Because it's right here on my neck. You know, just like, bam, in your face. Oh, what am I looking for right here? I'm so sorry that I don't have it in my face. I move shit around that I don't know where I got it. All right, the Goslings. I put it to the wrong side. So on that show, Gary Wayne it's talking about the angels, the angel of the Lord, like specifically, appears to Moses. These are his words, right? And you can hear it at the 46-minute mark. Gary Wayne says, the angel of the Lord appears to Moses, the burning bush. The angel of the Lord appears to Abraham and makes his promise to Abraham, right? Promise of the land and the promised land and the promise of God. Well, how can it be the promise of God if I'm hearing the angel of the Lord? The angel of the Lord. Well, which angel and which Lord are we talking about? Now, being a contrarian, he better be on that shit. I'm not a contrarian. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I never even fucking heard of that name until this guy, Gary Wayne, came out. And I'm hearing what he's saying. But I'm recognize what he specializes in, combing through shit. So how you not going to comb through that? So Jacob, who becomes Israel, which is Abraham's son, right, is made a promise from the angel of the Lord. No, not made a promise. Let me correct myself. Is blessed by the angel of the Lord. Which angel? Because we got fallen angels, and we got fallen angels posing as God. And so, who are we talking about? Posing as God? Is that the Lord we're talking about? Fallen angel? Is that what we're talking about? Giving Moses, Abraham, and Jacob a blessing? And so now they have control of the whole Bible? Now they have control of all of religion? Now they, what? How are we missing this? Like, I didn't even know until just a couple of days ago when I heard this. The angel of the Lord blesses Moses, Abraham, and Jacob. Just like, that doesn't mean God's talking to them, but yet that's the impression we all have, that they're God's promised people. No, they're the angel of the Lord's promised people. Which angel? Which Lord? Fallen angels to a fallen angel Lord, Yahweh. This is my point. So these Yahwehs are taking Christians into Yahwehism. And why does that matter? Because it's the same thing as when the time of Moloch, when people were burning their children alive to Moloch, right? Well, that was the same God as Baal. The Moloch was a figure. Baal was the Lord that they were burning their children, their firstborn to, right? For favors from these demonic fallen creature kind. I just sit back because, you know, I just found this last week. I haven't read the Bible, but when shit pops out to me from the Bible, that shit blows me away, especially when we have leaders or people following the lead of somebody like Gary Wayne, right? And just fucking falling head over heels over this motherfucker. People praise this motherfucker like the man. I was liking him. I'm just like, oh, this guy's on point till we hit here. That same day, then I hear him talking about the Essenes. Yeshua was an Essene Jew. There was two types of Essenes. One was an Essene and the other ones were Ossenes. And the Ossenes were not what I'm talking about. The Essenes were from the north and they practiced baptism, and that's what's in the New Testament. Nobody else practiced baptism. The Essenes, Yeshua, didn't worship in the temple because they would sacrifice lambs, 2,000, 200,000, 200, I think it was recorded 250,000 lambs murdered in a day, where they had blood up to their waist. Why do Canaanite worshipers, because that's what they are. We got Canaanites in Judaism, we got Canaanites in Christianity, we got Canaanites in Catholicism. We got Canaanites in Buddhism. We got Jesuit priests, Canaanites. I mean, these Canaanites are even in the Aztec culture, the sacrifice of humans, right? Is that the people? No. It's the leadership taking rule over and demanding sacrifices. And the people got to be the one to say, no more, motherfuckers, no más, hasta aquí. And we're not doing that. we got to get to the point where it's just like, this is a no-go. This is intolerable, unacceptable, and we're going to get you guys out legally by the justice system for treason. Because you don't follow King Joshua, but yet you say you represent him. You can't even call him by his name. Because the demon creature inside of you can't call him by that name. It's time to get out of black and white, people. The whole checkerboard, it's okay to be good and evil. No, it's not. The problem is we think that evil means sex. Evil means, the things that are natural to our nature we think are evil, and they're not. I'm here to show how that's fucking done. How to understand that what has been posed upon us to think is evil is not evil. We think carbohydrates are evil, fat's evil, salt's evil, but yet our cells are made up of this. We're made of this. This is our structural being. This is how we get strength and fucking power. Yeah, you telling me I gotta fuck in my mind. I'm so fucked in my mind. I can't think of it in a good way because it's been drilled in my mind that I'm opposed to it, yet I'm made of it. Well, this has been done to our sex. This has been done to our food. This has been done to our life. And so it's getting our mind out of that fuckery that has been squared into rigorously over and over into the words that we hear, into the lifestyles that we have, into our societies, into our parents telling our children, until that's all we know. And so we're going to unknow this shit and know what we're made up of is our power and our strength that's being used against us. We got to get out of the gray area, hold people accountable, put it in the chat, ask, hey, why you say this? Can you clarify this? I heard this, can you clarify it? If people can make a mistake, it can be fixed, right? Maybe the person didn't make a mistake. Maybe it was misunderstood, misstated, misquoted. I have no problem going back and fixing until it's clarified because it's not my intention to do ill will. But this Gary Wayne, it's his intention to say that the Essenes are of the white brotherhood, that they're polytheistic, meaning they have multiple gods that they pray to. That is bullshit, straight up. And Gary Wayne, I call your ass out. I love to have a contrarian fucking chit-chat of discussion with you at any time. At any time. Just on those 2 points and facts. Nothing else. How is it that we can have the angels of the Lord and that being declared as God and you're not bouncing on that shit? Like making that statement? Like, well, why are we running it like they're the promised chosen people of God when clearly you just said, no, it's the angel of the Lord? Why are we defining that? And then to say what he said about the Essenes, there's so much information about the Essenes, how they lived in cleanliness, how they baptized, how they lived away from the temple because the temple was fucking polluted with satanic behavior, rituals. Yet, Mr. Contrarian, Gary Wayne, is saying, no, they're the bad guys. Well, who are you standing for? Gary Wayne? King Joshua? I'd like to know. Meaning I'm calling your ass out. Let it be known. I got no fucking problem having a discussion with your ass. Because it seems to be you talk with everybody. In fact, you know what? I'm going to email you and ask you that fucking question and send you this video. See what you got to say. I'd love it if you could fix that shit. But I highly doubt it when I heard the Essene part. You went out of your way to say that shit. 9 years ago. Catch your asses. Oh, yeah. I don't see that anybody has any questions. More likely because you just let me talk. I really do appreciate it. We are now on the 8:33. Perfect. I'm on my hour. I'm not going past that. I'm trying to keep everything within an hour's time. So that I don't take up, people got a lot of things to do. I really thank you guys for being here with me, Michelle Angelic, Truth and Integrity Warrior, saying keeping it real, keeping it honest, and don't be afraid to stand up and say what you feel and call a motherfucker out. It's like my favorite thing to do. You know, if we can't fucking duke it out right here, I'm gonna challenge you with the words coming out of my mouth by checking the words coming out your mouth. You guys have a blessed evening, a blessed night, and until next week.